Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to create melodies. I understand for a lot of people it's kind of a pain point, it's kind of a nuisance. For me it was always different, as a kid I would just hear melodies in my head. I never trained, I never studied music theory. Hans Zimmer, one of the most melodic artists in the world, didn't go to music school. He's pretty vocal about this. I'm going to be making a melody from scratch and I'm probably going to include it in my MIDI pack, depending how it sounds. I kind of want to mess with this note here. Variation is good. Also so that your listener doesn't get too bored. The human brain is really good at picking up subconsciously, picking up repetitiveness. It's good to change the notes every once in a while. As you can tell, these are all, just two notes laid on top of each other. As soon as you add in a third note like this, it kind of makes it a bit louder almost. I would say as a general rule of thumb, in my opinion, if you're gonna have 3 notes in one section, try make sure that every single layer has about 3 layers so it doesn't create inconsistencies, you know what I mean? I want to include this note here, but it sounds a bit louder, so I'm just gonna go ahead and delete one of these notes so it's 2. Just to create some more variation here. You don't have to, but towards the end, maybe we could... I don't need a textbook or music theory to tell me that that note sounds shit. Go by ear. Okay, see, that sounds a bit better. Okay, cool. We're getting somewhere here. So I'm just going to duplicate this here. Put some variation. I'll change these 2 notes.
I said don't disturb you, I'm cleaning my room!
Puts a bit more emphasis on it. We have the structure down. Let's go and add a pluck because what is melodic techno or EDM for that matter without a pluck? Create a clip here. I like to make sure it's in 1/16 notes. With this kind of music, I usually like to play around with the spaces in between and the length of the notes to create some variation because the human brain loves variation and the human brain hates repetitiveness and predictability. A little bit of predictability is good, but too much, nuh-uh. So let's just, let's fuck around. Have you guys seen that meme comedy sketch where it's if you don't fuck around, you won't know. So go ahead and fuck around. For me, this is a little bit too predictable, so I'm just gonna move the spacing a little bit. And then I'm gonna increase the length of the note. Okay, so let's try something like this. Okay, so we got a little something here. Let's just mess with the velocities, get that organic feel. Before we duplicate it, This is simple music. It really is at the core. It's simple is better. Less is more. So we have this. It sounds really like almost too simple now, but don't worry. What you do is you go into your VST, no matter what it is, silent, serum, diva, doesn't matter. Every VST has a cutoff frequency. So we're gonna build it up. Like that. And that's where like the power comes in. You can turn a very simple thing like this into like a banger, into a banger. Usually I don't like to go too high, but it's personal preference. Just bend it like this. This is the automation of the cutoff. Let's do the same thing for this. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna create an automation with the cutoff. Create a wave, bring it down. That's super fucking simple. Let's just add a pad to make it a little bit cooler. So usually with the pads is where I go really hectic with the notes and the chords. Like I layer a lot more with the pads because they usually do sound good with layers. Okay, so basically I know this is gonna sound shit because of this one note. But if I go up one, it sounds a little bit better. So if I press fold here, you can see I have 5 notes laid on top of each other. I'm just going to extend this out here, Command J, and bring this all the way to the end. Okay, so now we have our chord. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it because I like to have my pads super wide. So I'm panning it 50 to the right, panning it 50 to the left, just for like the stereo spectrum, you know? I'll do another video on panning and like why it's so important. So I'm just gonna group this. The pads, usually I like to have my pads subtle. Okay, so cool. We have the pad, we have the pluck, and we have the lead. Now, what I would do, this is just a bonus tip here. I would add a sidechain to the kick to make it pump. This is what like a lot of amateurs don't do. They just make what sounds cool and then they don't do any of the technical shit. I'm gonna get a compressor. I'm gonna get a sidechain. Where's the kick? Okay, here's the kick. I'm just gonna rename this kick to make it easy to find. So on this group here, I'm going to program the sidechain to the kick. So every time the kick plays, what I've made here is going to duck in volume. I like to go to this mode here. Currently, it's sidechain to the kick. If I bring this down now, boom. Now we get that nice pump. The low frequency signal from the kick can come through. Also, you can take the tack down. Let's just make like one extra melody here. I'm gonna create a little clip here. Let's just alter the velocities. Okay, so there's 2 ways you could go about this. This is really simple. You could just duplicate it like this. Okay, so you can do it like that, but what a lot of people do in techno is instead of duplicating it from here, if you wanna go for something more trippy, you could do that via delay and reverb and other effects, but you could also, instead of duplicating the whole thing like this, you could duplicate it from here. Just have a listen. I'm gonna duplicate it from here. It's gonna be really offbeat, but if that's what you want, you know, it could sound cool. Let's try this preset. So let's try this with, you know, just the normal route. So let's just delete everything. Maybe the regular duplication, maybe the regular one sounds good. So before we duplicated it from here, let's duplicate it from the, like, you know, the orthodox position. So I'm just going to duplicate this.